Alright, Schlockmeister fans, another 80s Stephen King classic. This one's called Christine. Let's check it out. Here we see that Plymouth Fury Christine when it was first being built. And it was negative from the beginning. And a little while later, somebody else died in that car. Fast forward to 1978, that's Arnie, played by Keith Gordon. And this is the bully named Buddy Repperton.
Arnie Cuntingham. Why doesn't it say Cuntingham? Just take it, Arnie, and let's go eat.
Come on, break it up right now. Okay, you kids take a walk. Come on, take a walk. Get lost. Not you, Moochie. Come on, Mr. Casey, I ain't been doing nothing. You all right, Dennis?
After school, they're driving by and
Be careful, Dennis.
Arnie sees Christine.
That's a piece of shit, Arnie. Wish she could be fixed up. She could.
Her name's Christine.
Arnie's gonna buy it for about $250, I think.
Come on, Arnie, we gotta get going, huh?
You can't buy a car. What in the world are you talking about? You're 17 years old.
Oh, boy. Well, actually, you're wrong. I mean, I couldn't finance it.
His parents will not let him keep that car in their driveway, so he's got to take it to Darnell's. Kind of a storage place where he can also work on it, get some parts, fix it up.
Fucking bastard killed himself in it. Son of a bitch was so mean, you could have poured boiling water down his throat, he would have pissed ice cube. What a bad taste in car. You know, Papa, you can't polish a turd.
His friend Dennis has the hots for Alexandra Paul. She plays Lee. And he just struck out. Sorry, Dennis.
They told us the man who owned that car last died in it of carbon monoxide poisoning.
You would have never bought that car if you known somebody died in it.
You're dumb and you look. You don't know your friend very well. He had the same look in his eye my brother always had.
Arnie checks out Christine on his own. There's Buddy.
Hey, tree lining. Is that Cuntingham's car? Yeah.
Well, the reason Dennis struck out with Lee is because she had a date already scheduled with Arnie, of all people. Go figure that one.
Mean, old-fashioned hard work.
Dennis hurts himself playing football.
Of course, I still can't keep her at home. His mom says it makes the yard look crowded.
That car.
What are you talking about? Why not?
Because I hate that car.
Later on, they're out. Lee is in the car and she starts choking. They're at the movie theater. The Good Samaritan stops by and gives her the Heimlich though and saves her.
That radio? All I get is those old songs. And sometimes when we're making out, it just stalls.
Buddy Repperton and his crew break into the garage and break the shit out of Christine. One of them takes a dump on the dashboard, too. And then something creepy happens. That car fixes itself. And then Christine goes on revenge against those that hurt it. First up is Moochie. That's one determined car. Harry Dean Stanton is a cop investigating Moochie's death.
The report said they punched holes in the body. Damn if I can see the fill.
You can if you look.
Yeah.
The kid was cut in half, Arnie. They had to scrape his legs up with a shovel.
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do with shit?
Next up is Buddy Repperton's car.
Come on, prick! We're not finished yet! Come on!
2 more victims. Is Buddy next? You better believe he is. Now that's a cool scene. And that car returns. The guy who runs the garage goes in to check it out and pays for it with his life.
He's dead, too. So are Don Vandenberg and Richard Trelawney. Guess nobody'd be trashing your car anymore.
Lee and Dennis get together.
Let me destroy it.
So Lee and Dennis head to the warehouse, Darnell's, out to destroy the car. And basically a long chase ensues within the warehouse until it crashes. And Arnie's gonna die. But Christine's not dead yet. But Dennis is going to take care of that. That is one tough car. All right, let's talk about Stephen King's Christine. This is a movie that I had on a beta tape back in the 80s. In fact, it was the very first TDK tape that I had. This is one of the earliest films I ever taped, actually, probably within the first 50 that I ever had. Back in the mid-80s, Stephen King was king, and all of us kids would watch everything that he did. We watched Carrie and Salem's Lot and Creepshow and Cujo. Creepshow? No, not Creepshow. I meant Christine and Cujo. But anyway, I like the movie. I'm sure everybody's seen this movie. It is a little long. It's an hour and 50 minutes. Probably could be about 20 minutes shorter than that. Based on the novel by Stephen King, it's about a car that is, I don't know if it's supposed to be possessed or what exactly it is, but when it starts off on the assembly line in 1957, I believe it was, this Plymouth Fury here, it crushed somebody's hand. It killed another guy in the car. Later on, we find out that it was owned by some guy who died in it. Carbon monoxide poisoning. I think suicide is what it was. Somebody else died in it as well. And this nerdy guy, Arnie, played by Keith Gordon, finds the car. It's a derelict, and he buys it from the guy for $250, the brother of the previous owner. And his friend Dennis, played by John Stockwell, he's kind of a football hero type. Studly guy, total opposite of Arnie. He says you shouldn't buy it, it's a piece of junk, blah, 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 whatever. Well, his parents don't let him keep the car because they think it's an eyesore, so he takes it to Darnell's garage where he's allowed to keep it there, work on it, get some parts, that sort of thing. And he fixes up Christine to look very nice. But Christine has a mind of its own. Christine has some jealousy issues. Christine is, again, possessed or what by the devil? I don't know. Or was it by the brother or the guy who owned the car in the 50s? Who the hell knows? But anyway, Arnie has some problem with some bullies led by Buddy Repperton. They trash his car, and they trash the hell out of it. They take a dump on the dashboard. They totally destroy the car, and then the car magically fixes itself because that's what Christine does. Cool scene, actually, when it's making itself whole again. And then Christine, on its own, goes off and kills the 4 people who trashed it. Runs one of them over, runs a couple of them over, actually crushes another one. And then Arnie, of course, is kind of a suspect by Harry Dean Stanton, the cop. But he didn't do it. Then later on, the girlfriend, Arnie's girlfriend, Lee, played by Alexander Paul, and his best friend, Dennis, again, they decide something's wrong with this car. It's got to go. We have to destroy it if we can. They go to the warehouse to try to destroy it. Christine tries to fight back. Christine is actually being driven this time by Arnie, who's kind of one with the car, possessed. I don't know exactly what Arnie is, but Arnie ends up dying, gets some glass embedded in his chest. Christine, though, still fights back, and they end up crushing the car. And then they crush into like one of those big, giant, metal blocks, bricks types of thing, car crusher. Last scene in the movie shows a little bit of movement, so maybe Christina's going to try to come back from that. Who knows? Anyway, that's it. Again, I like the movie. Again, it's very nostalgic for me, though, because in the 80s, like I said, I saw this movie a lot. Everybody saw it a lot. Everybody talked about Christine. So it takes me right back to that time period when I first saw it. So I do try to revisit this one every couple of years or so. And I actually reviewed this on my previous channel, so it's time to re-review it again. Directed by John Carpenter. Again, I like the soundtrack of this. The soundtrack of this movie really reminded me of Escape from New York. There's some very similar stylings in there. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Tell me what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. I believe it's on Blu-ray now, and I'll leave a link to it down below for you to get it. Please do. Watch it. Bye. Watch it and buy it.